motorsport. We have an exciting day today. As Linda mentioned, the car will be here today. We'll be moving it back over by the Veterans Tent this evening. The main reason we're doing this here and not over by the Vet Tent is because there's some horrible golfers out there today. And this thing is not inexpensive, so we'll hang right here for it. There'll be plenty of opportunities for pictures later. But as mentioned, my name is Carlos Padilla. I oversee global sports partnerships at Dow, but I also have the great privilege of serving as executive director of the Dow Championship, taking place right here starting tomorrow with the Pro-Am here today. I'm joined by NASCAR driver, the number 3 Dow Chevy Camaro, Austin Dillon. Thank you for joining us today, Austin.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
You were very generous right there, because I put a lot of dents on this thing. I don't think anybody can dent it up as well as I do out here today.
Well, that being said, you still have an opportunity to put a dent in it with a golf ball when you head out onto the course after we're here today. So I was more referring to the golf ball side of things, but you're correct. And we are also joining us today is the Chief Security Officer from Dow, Scott Welshel. Scott is also executive sponsor of the Dow VetNet program, which we'll talk a little bit more about here today. So thank you for joining us here today, Scott.
Thank you.
So how many veterans do we have in attendance with us right now? Can we get a raising of hands? We have a few there. Okay. How about a round of applause for our veterans, and thank you guys, all of you, for what you do for our country. We literally would not be here today. So Austin, let's start at the top a little bit. Those of you that are in attendance that have not had a chance to meet Austin, hopefully you'll get a chance to get some autographs in a little bit, but also maybe start from the beginning. You're a top-tier NASCAR Cup Series driver. You drive the iconic number 3 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet, which used to be driven by Dale Earnhardt. Can you talk a little bit about your journey, where you come from? What does it take to become a NASCAR Cup Series driver? Maybe just give everybody a high-level understanding of where you come from, and how did you get to be such a premier elite driver in the NASCAR Cup Series?
Yeah, thanks, Carlos. I mean, I think this is my 11th full year in the Cup Series. This is our 10th year with Dow. Dow's been with me actually for my entire Cup Series career, and this car is very special to me because we've been doing it for 10 years with the Dow Veterans car, and the names have been building each year. But to speak to, you know, being a Cup level driver, I feel like the best form of motorsports is in NASCAR. The highest and the best drivers are in NASCAR. If you watch our competitions, our races each week, the field from first to last is blanketed by less than a second most racetracks. You know, we're working in the tiniest level of error, where we're always putting the cars on the edge, and the competition's probably the best I've seen it since I've been in my career. I've been fortunate to race against guys like Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, and Jeff Gordon, and see those guys come and go, and now we got a whole new era with myself, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, who's my teammate. And so getting to race against some of the best each and every weekend, you got to have a great team of people behind you. It's all about people. And right now we're working on our culture at our company at RCR, trying to get there where we're competing for championships and races. So, yeah, I think it goes back to just the drive and effort that you have and the people around you.
Awesome, thank you. So 37 races a year, is that what you guys do? So every 37 weekends a year, you're out there racing. You're here with us today, so we appreciate you taking the time with us. Can you talk for a moment a little bit about the lifestyle of being a NASCAR Cup Series driver? I mean, being on the road 37 weeks a year, you're racing on the weekends, you're away from your family. You have 2 little ones now, so that's factored into the equation. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, what that experience is like, and how do you manage your schedule and practice and all the planning that goes into every race weekend?
Yeah, well, you definitely got to love what you do, because you live it. Every weekend we're on the road. I leave here and I go to Nashville. After that, we go to Chicago. It's a constant grind. Our schedule is probably one of the roughest schedules in sports. I think the Major League Baseball has a lot of games, but they have a little more off time. We're pretty much, when Thanksgiving hits, we have Thanksgiving till about the middle of January, and then we start gearing up for the season. You know, we'll be in the simulator in January at the end of that month, and we're doing photo shoots for our partners, and really it's it's life, man. It's just the job that we have, but it's a good one, and I'm thankful for it. And like today, I'm really thankful for the heroes that allow us to do what we love, and those are our veterans. So that's what makes me really proud about these race cars that Dow does, and the support that Dow and RCR gives the veterans, because we can't overlook what the ultimate sacrifice that all of the men and women that have served our country have put out there for us to be able to enjoy what we love to do and enjoy this beautiful day on the golf course too.
It's a great segue over to you, Scott. As executive sponsor of the Dow VetNet program, for those in attendance that may not know what that means or what that is, could you maybe share a little bit about the Dow VetNet program and then some of the history that we have racing with Austin and that program, what we're doing on those weekends at those racetracks, and kind of bring the whole thing together for us a little bit?
Yes, certainly can try to do that. And I want to first, on behalf of Jane Palmieri, our executive sponsor, I have the privilege of serving as managing sponsor, but we have a great VetNet steering team as well. Dow veterans have a continued call for service, right? So all veterans, I think, really share that service above self mentality. Dow as a company provides an unbelievable avenue to continue that call to service, and we connect with each other across the veteran community in Dow so that we can find these opportunities to give back, to continue to give back, not only to our company and our wonderful communities, but to partner together with Richard Childress Racing in Austin to project out the thanks and the gratitude. I can tell you that last year in Atlanta, we went and experienced some racing with Austin. A number of us were there, Alvita and team. The warm embrace that Richard Childress and Austin's team put around all of the veterans that were there that day and continually throughout the day was just overwhelming. And it just shows that I think they too have their own call to service. And so that call together, I think we match it up and we say, what more can we be doing? I'd be remiss if I didn't call out one of our favorite partners, which is Team Rubicon. And I'll maybe call on Austin a little bit, maybe just say a few words. We had our Team Rubicon representatives there that day. Team Rubicon goes out into communities, is a team full of veterans and allies together to rebuild communities during disaster time. And the amount of support that was wrapped around that team and ours that day from your team, Austin, was just tremendous. So I don't know if you want to share a few thoughts there.
Yeah, Team Rubicon and VetNet, everybody that puts their hands on this race car and gets it to the track with. I love the fact that our veterans get to come up to the race car and see their names on the car, get to ride with me throughout the races. And for me, my favorite race of the year is the Coca-Cola 600. It's Memorial Day weekend. And you see all the military branches represented at the racetrack. And when you have the national anthem playing and the flyover, there's nothing that smells like freedom more than that moment right there in NASCAR. And, we've got, usually our Gold Star families are out there, and we've got a fallen soldier on our car, and we pay homage to them at the middle of the race. So as far as patriotism and showing that love to our veterans, I think NASCAR does a pretty good job of showing that and appreciative of all of our veterans like we talked about. But this car is really cool. I'm excited about showing everybody. Carlos has done a good job with the design. Last year the car looked amazing. This year, I don't know, he might have beat it. It looks really cool, and we're going to Phoenix with this race car. So he tied the desert with Phoenix with this. I think you talk about it a little bit. Talk about the car design a little bit.
Yeah, I think last year we took a different approach on the design. Historically, Dow has done, a big kind of patriotic flag kind of paint scheme for the Dow VetNet car. Last year we decided to mix it up a little bit and try to do something a little bit different. We pulled the team internally. We worked with Jackie at RCR and Austin and others at Dow to try to just reinvent it a little bit and do something a little bit different. So last year was a more like an Army style, I would maybe say.
I was about to take Army ownership of that. There's a lot of healthy competitiveness across the branches, and so we felt that. So thank you. This year, I think we're going to share the love a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. This year we took a different approach. So excited to see it. Austin, talk a little bit about the paint schemes. Mentioned it about Linda and our partnership with Kelly Services and their authenticity to this partnership and our day today. The relationship that we have with RCR and with you is authentic as well. not only are we here with the VetNet car and we work with RCR on this program, we also work from an engineering and a technology, material science perspective, working with your engineers, with our engineers, to kind of help the car go faster, help the car be safer, and hopefully, ultimately, win more races. We won the Daytona 500 with you several years ago, so that authenticity is really there. But talk about the paint schemes, because week in and week out, you might have a different sponsor as a primary. On this car, we're the primary. Yep. But what does that do for you when you're getting in the car and you're trying to get motivated for the race, and you have an authentic partnership like this that has so much, I'll say it, more meaning behind the scheme?
Well, you definitely want to go out there and put on a good show and represent well for the veterans that are coming there, because they want to see their car out front and they want to see their name doing well. Last night, we were talking about other partnerships with Dow. We had the mobility and science team, and the engineers that Dow provides is amazing. We can really progress our race cars by using the support that Dow has here, and we've done it in numerous ways with our engine shop, from a safety aspect as well, with different foams. And so the Dow partnership that we've had over the years has really come full circle, and it's more than just a sponsorship, it's a partnership, and I love that about it. The car about got hit. Luckily there's some people in front of us, but yeah, no, I think a great example is we were in St. Louis the other week with our Dow Rivers or Life Chevy with a partnership with Ducks Unlimited. That car really popped, and it ran well on the track. We got a 6th place finish out of that race, and really had a good car. And the track we're taking this car to is similar to Gateway, so I want to back it up there, and I think it should be a good run for us. So we kind of found a little setup, so I'm excited about the flatter tracks like Gateway and Phoenix, and I think Dow's done a good job picking their races this year.
So Scott, you've had one more question for Scott, then we're going to open it up to some questions from you, and then we'll do the unveil and get some pictures, and maybe we can get Austin to hang around for a minute for a couple autographs. But Scott, you've had the actual opportunity not only to be involved in how we designed the paint scheme and being a managing sponsor of the VetNet program, but you've actually had the opportunity to go to races with these veterans. Can you talk a little bit about what this car means to them, and maybe some of the interactions you've had at the racetrack around this car and what it means for our veterans?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, think about what it takes to bear the heat of Hotlanta in the middle of summer, and you had people out in droves, and they were drawn not only to the stage when we brought Team Rubicon up to share it with Austin, and the racing team and Rubicon together had a presentation there, but you got a lot of interest around the Dow car, specifically because of the paint scheme, because of the look and the feel. One of the things I still to this day am just blown away by, we had the chance to sit with the pit crew and watch. You want to talk about a high-performing team. And as you sit there with your military experience and you have these different opportunities in the military to see high-performing teams, they're like the Navy SEALs of racing. It was just an awe-inspiring experience to watch how well they bring their team together. I think, we have teams in Dow that are looking at that example to figure out how can we work more efficiently as well. So they're really a model, and they're always pointing back at the military, and we're pointing at them. So, it's a really great experience. I'll call out too what Austin says. The feeling of walking up to the car, finding your dad's name, your aunt's name, all the different people that have served that you can recognize on the car. It's a really, really special thing, and I think it just perpetuates this air of gratitude that you feel from service, and especially for those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Awesome. I just, in my role overseeing sponsorships at Dow, the ones that have, and I continue to say it, the most authenticity are the ones that mean the most, and this is one that's near and dear to us for all of these reasons, and I think everyone's going to be excited to see the car. Do we have any questions? We have to have a few questions in the crowd that we have for Austin, so anybody want to raise their hand and ask Austin a question?
Man, they want to see the race car. Let's get real.
All right, let's get to it. We're gonna have Linda come back up. We're gonna go over. Let's do the unveil, and then Austin will be available for a few minutes for a couple pictures and maybe a couple autographs. So we're gonna get up here. We're gonna unveil. allow us to take a photo if you don't mind together, and then everybody can come on up. Thank you.
Right, Dad, 2 on each side. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't use this. Yeah. Run she may, shine she must.
All right, 1, 2, and 3. One more. Thank you, guys. All right, right here, guys. 1, 2, and perfect. Thank you.
Good. Awesome.
Now do people want to find their names?
Yeah, come on over.
Thank you for supporting this car. It's awesome. Oh, it got wet up there. I'm trying to wipe it off. They're good. Yeah. No, I was looking at pictures of them earlier.